elimination this week on the tiers. We can show it to you. I mean, it's so, you know, some point they probably need to win some games.
They might.
You know?
There would be tough. Nobody wants to see it though.
Nobody. They're the third best team.
I don't still think that. I'm just telling you.
Are you sure?
I wouldn't want to play them.
What proof do we have that they're bad?
But I'm just telling you, they now, the rubbers met the road for Cincinnati. They are facing elimination. All right. Next group of teams, all facing major quarterback questions this offseason. QB quandary tier. Reveal it, please. Can we reveal it? But there it is. The Niners. They're going to draft a quarterback. They're going to pay Brock Purdy. The Falcons. Is Kirk going to be 1 year for $90 million? They would have paid him for the 1 year.
Ouch.
The Colts. I would stick with Anthony Richardson, give him another full season, but we'll see. Also, by the way, quick question, Greg Jennings. Richardson for Purdy. Who says no? Just something to think about. Next! I'm telling you. I don't know. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
He can't complete passes.
He said no.
60 million for Purdy or Anthony Richardson on a cheap deal? Firing it over to little George Kittle? I'm just telling you, Shane Steichen might be the one who says no. Next! Sorry, game of the week. Oh, no, I didn't even do game of the week yet. Game of the week. Literally, it's the game of the week.
Oh.
It's the non-Fox game of the week, I should say.
Yeah.
But this is the biggest playoff implications of any game this weekend is Seahawks-Cardinals. Winner is in great position, depending
Packers,
what the Rams do. Of course, Seahawks are going to take a stranglehold of the division. There's this one. Dangerous if they get in. The Rams or Bucks, if they get in, would be hosting in round one. And the Bucks, with Mike Evans back, Baker didn't play great this past week, but he just he has a knack for making really good plays. Obviously, the Rams, when they're healthy, they're a dynamic offense. Jared Verse been great as a rookie. I think, Brew, you and I both talked about it before the year. If the Dolphins would be dangerous if they get in, because it would have meant they damn near ran the table and they overcame some of the cold weather boogeymen just to get in. I know you think that's an impossibility. I'm just telling you. Silver and bronze medalists. And this is actually about the Rookie of the Year voting. Because the silver medalist should be Jaden Daniels and the bronze medalist right now should be Bo Nix. Because when you have a rookie who's been the best in the league at his position, not amongst rookies, but amongst all players, that guy's the Rookie of the Year.
Joe Alt again?
No, Brawl's been really good. He hasn't been the best tackle in football. Brock Bowers has been the best tight end in football. And I understand MVP having a quarterback slant because there's a V in the award for valuable. Rookie of the Year is just most outstanding rookie. That's been Brock Bowers. There's really a Brock Bowers conversation. We know.
You know what's hilarious? Let me just interject real fast. You know what's hilarious? We know if Caleb Williams was actually realistically in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year, he would not be saying this. We know without a shadow of a doubt. But since it's Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix, it's, there's too much focus on the quarterbacks right now. Okay, sure. And also, I should have said that in my previous video when he was talking about Saquon Barkley being the MVP over Josh Allen. When we know if Patrick Mahomes was having a similar year as Josh Allen, he would be saying that, Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. Of course, he's the greatest football player in the history of the world.
How this ends. Sorry, bro. We know how this ends. One and done playoff run written all over these two teams. For the Texans, we know why it'll happen, because CJ's going to be fighting for his life with that offensive line the entirety of the game and get cooked up. With the Ravens, there's a bunch of choose-your-own adventures as to how it ends. Does Lamar have his annual Lamar playoff game? Does Justin Tucker miss kicks?
Yeah.
Does the defense let down? The only way either one of these teams win a playoff game is if they're playing each other in round one. In that case, then they'll win a playoff.
Which
could happen. Absolutely could happen. It's the 4-5 matchup. Prove it week. So, the Packers have played 3 games already against the Lions, the Vikings, and the Eagles. They're 0-3. They have a chance to get a win this week against the Lions. The Chargers' wins have come against the Raiders, the Panthers, the Saints, the Browns, the Titans, the might-be-good Bengals, the Falcons, and Bo Nix early. So the Chargers, as good as their record is, they've really beaten up on the worst teams in the league. They get the best team in football, the Chiefs, this week.
They'll do the Chiefs.
Packers get one of the best teams in football, the Lions, this week. It's a prove-it week for them. Where's the respect?
It's hilarious.
Only Detroit and Kansas City have more wins than these two teams, yet no one across any media believes either one of these teams is going to win the Super Bowl. Like I haven't heard a single person. You know what take is available? The Vikings are winning the Super Bowl. The Steelers are winning the Super Bowl. Those takes are available.
Russ?
Get through the next 10 days. You've got Green Bay and Buffalo in the next 10 days. Injuries are starting to mount. As long as you just split the next two, you're in great shape. But if you lose the next two after almost losing on Thanksgiving and dealing with the injuries, things could get a little shaky. Brew this for you. From SNF to MVP. What's SNF? Sunday Night Football? No. From Supernatural Funk to league MVP.
I like that, actually.
It's Saquon snapped him out of the funk. He also, I think, made them the best team in the conference. All right, and now the top of the tiers, which is quite controversial, because last week, Greg, you weren't here. The Chiefs were atop the tiers. The Chiefs, did they win this week? Yeah, they did. So where are they here? They're not the top of the tiers. If only they'd earned our trust.
Wow.
I mean, if only the Chiefs had done enough to where they'd be like, well, they are 11-1, and they never know. If only they had earned our trust the way the team at the top of the tiers has, which is, of course, the Buffalo Bills. And all I'll say about Buffalo is don't let history repeat itself, because Josh Allen's the MVP. The Bills are the most dangerous team. I'm a Buffalo guy this year, but I've heard that song played before. But here's the controversy, Brew. I obviously thought the Chiefs should be atop the tiers. I was almost unanimously outvoted by the committee that because of the Chiefs' bad performance in a win this week and the Bills looking excellent this week, they need to be atop the tiers. Oh. So I have to do something.
Oh, no.
That I never thought I would have to do.
Put yourself. The committee?
The committee's on the board. The committee is on the board. Bills atop the tiers when the Chiefs are 11-1. The Chiefs dropping after a win. The committee's on the board. I hate to do it. Trust me, I hate to do it.
Identify the people on the committee. Is that Dusty? Is that Dusty Silhouette?
Different ball.
Pretty impressive, pretty interesting. So we can't give it to Nick then. That the Kansas City Chiefs are not number one, right? Because it's the committee. It's not him. So we can't say, oh, wow, that's impressive. Oh, my God, why can't I get this to be set up the way I want it to? Now we got it. This has been more difficult than it needed to be. So we can't even give credit. We can't even say, wow, good for Nick. Wow, he's actually admitting that the Buffalo Bills, because he doesn't believe it. So it really is interesting. Well, I still want to know, what is this actual committee? How many people are involved? And it's obviously a real thing. I mean, the whole joke about, it's a rich tapestry. Like, that is a known joke of it just essentially being nonsense, right? It's just Nick Wright's feelings. But in terms of the committee, I don't get the sense that it's the same thing where it's kind of like, no, it is actually just Nick Wright. Like, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. So I'm curious. I want to start. The one thing that jumps out to me, where's the respect? The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings. I've been giving them respect. Nick is the one that hasn't been giving them respect. Nick is the one that kept saying, oh, the Vikings aren't that good. Sam Darnold on Pumpkin Watch, Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson. When he started having some good games, he was like, Russ shouldn't play. He should be Justin Fields. And then when Russ played pretty good, he goes, I don't think that this will be maintained. So no, there's that respect. And in terms of silver and bronze medalists for the Broncos and the Commanders, guys, every NFL fan should want this. Every NFL fan should want this. I want this so badly. And I'm going to make a separate video about this with regard to the Broncos. If the Chiefs get the number 2 seed and the Broncos stay where they're at, first game of the playoffs, Broncos versus Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my God, that will be the juiciest week. First round for first game of the playoffs, without a doubt. I'm trying to think of what would be some of the other interesting matchups. I mean, technically, we could maybe have some sort of like Lions. Some of those things could potentially happen, which would also obviously be pretty box office, but. Kansas City Chiefs, obviously reigning, Super Bowl champions. I don't know if you know this, but the Kansas City Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls, and Patrick Mahomes is really good. But going up against the Denver Broncos, like, oh my God. And could you imagine if the Broncos actually ended up beating the Kansas City Chiefs? Like, what that would do for the conversation, rookie quarterback Bo Nix. No, I'm not rooting in one way or the other. I know I'm the world's biggest Kansas City Chiefs hater. I want the juiciness. I want that. I want the drama of it. So the Broncos versus the Chiefs, first round. Oh my God, that would be awesome. That would be such a fantastic game. And so that's honestly what I'm hoping for from just an entertainment standpoint. Honestly, would be awesome. So, and maybe that silver medalist would turn into a gold medalist. You never know. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think that this is like the most unfair tiers. I don't think that they're great either. I mean, listen, at this point, honestly, the way how I keep going back and forth, but it is a little bit tough to figure out who the Lions are right now with their injuries. If I'm just going to remove the sense of injuries from the Lions right now until I see how they play with these injuries. I'm still putting the Lions, up there as well. And so I'm going to put the Lions, the Bills, the Eagles. I'm going to put them in that same tier altogether. And then I'll put the Kansas City Chiefs just right under it. So I still have them essentially where the committee has them, but I just have these other teams above them, but still right there again. And to be very clear, it's not like I think the Kansas City Chiefs are head and shoulders below these other teams, but I do think that the Bills and the Eagles and the Lions for that point have earned the right to be above the Chiefs, but that could change, especially with the Lions in terms of injuries. And then I do think it's fair to have I actually kind of like the Vikings and the Steelers together in that same tier, although I would probably add the Packers in there as well, just because I think they're an ascending team. And again, we're going to get some more information with them playing the Lions, but I think I like that group, kind of the Packers, the Vikings, and the Steelers kind of together, of kind of like, right, no one really wants to give us the time of day right now, but we obviously have some pieces. And then I'm still going to put the Ravens right there. The Texans just seem like a mess right now to me, and I'm not sure. It's not clear to me how they correct the ship. Now they're dealing with suspensions, they just seem like a mess, and I had high hopes. I mean, I had the Texans competing for the AFC Championship this year, and that season has not unfolded how I thought it would, especially, I think injuries are a major part of that, but also even just the injuries alone, just having Bobby Slowick have to kind of deal with some of that. I don't know how good of a job he's done with it, which again, I kind of give some grace to Bobby Slowick because it's, having to overcome injuries and changing of the personnel again and again and again. Seasoned veteran offensive head coaches struggle with that. So this is something that he's obviously learning. And so I'm just not expecting him to be able to pass with flying colors. I think if this team was truly healthy from the start, they would be significantly better. And I think even, it's obvious, it's easy to say, well, if they were healthy, of course they would be better. But I just think they would be greater than just saying they're healthy, because I think Bobby Slowick would then also become a better coordinator at that point, which then would help elevate CJ Stroud. It just really kind of becomes that domino effect for me. At least that's the way how I see it, currently. But then I still have the Baltimore Ravens. I would put the Baltimore Ravens in the category of just wait and see, but a cocky just wait and see. Yeah, that's right, just wait and see. And we saw Lamar Jackson give his press conference after the Eagles game when he was talking about his mom, and he's like, my mama told me that I was missing some runs, and he's like, I just got to get back out there. We're doing this differently, and it is kind of interesting. I really wonder if there will be a shift right now with the Ravens, if they are going to kind of get back to Lamar Jackson's roots. I've talked about this at length. Lamar Jackson, he is not a pure quarterback. And that is not an insult on Lamar Jackson by any stretch of the imagination. But he can throw a beautiful ball and can do some unbelievable things. But that's not his brand of special. So stop trying to make him that. And he knows it. That's the thing. So you can if you want to disagree with me, that's fine. But then you're also disagreeing with Lamar Jackson and, most importantly, his mama. So if you want to disagree with that, then by all means. If you want to make the argument that that's not the path to win a Super Bowl, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think if anyone's going to be the exception to that, because we always like to use some of these more mobile quarterbacks and as a reference point, I would say that we've never seen a quarterback like Lamar Jackson in that regard. And so it really will take a special offensive coach or, a coordinator to really find how do we balance out what truly makes Lamar special and still take advantage of his ability to throw the ball and still be, great at that, but just have a different balance than what we've seen. And that's why I say, fire Harbaugh, take a chance, hire Ben Johnson. That's my, take a chance. What do you got to lose? Because whatever they've been doing has not been working. But I still think that there's a chance that the Baltimore Ravens can do some damage. And like Nick said, I don't want to face the Bengals, and I agree with that. Who the heck wants to face the Bengals? Because me and Nick Wright actually agree on the Bengals. Like, I still think the Bengals are actually like a good team, because I really do believe that they could be winning these games, honestly. So me and Nick actually agree with that. Like, who would you rather play? The Falcons or the Bengals? The Colts or the Bengals? The Buccaneers or the Bengals? The Rams or the Bengals? I know that answer. I do not want to face Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. I know that defense is not good, but still. I mean, like, I'm not going up against Joe Burrow. And I feel the exact same way with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Who wants to go up against Lamar and Derrick Henry? I know this team is obviously flawed and having their issues, but, like, I mean, my God. Lamar Jackson is still, a freak of nature. And yeah, and then we start to kind of get in these other more kind of messy teams like the Rams and Dolphins and the Bucks and I don't know how we could reliably rank these teams, honestly. Seriously, I don't know what the heck. How am I comparing the Buccaneers and the Miami Dolphins and the Cardinals and the Seahawks and the Falcons? Because it's like, who really has legit belief in those teams? Because Nick says, oh, the Dolphins will be dangerous if they get in. Okay, who does he think's going to win? The Buffalo Bills or the Dolphins? The Kansas City Chiefs or the Dolphins? We know that answer. We do. We know he's going to pick those other teams. The Steelers as well, especially all those teams are going to be at home facing the Dolphins. He doesn't think the Dolphins are going to be dangerous under those, under those circumstances. There's no way. So yeah, I don't know.